This story happened 8 years ago. I was 13 years old. At the time, me, my mom, and my dad lived in this small town with a low population. The town barely had any jobs, so my mom was a housewife while my dad worked as a cook at a diner. Growing up, I was a shy kid with no friends. I always got bullied in school for how much of a loser I was, and I loved to write and read. But that's enough about my personal life. So one weekend day I was at home. My dad went to work while my mom was, of course, at home cooking and cleaning. I was in my room watching TV. The day was going by kind of fast. A couple of hours later, my dad got home and my mom called me down for dinner. When we finished with dinner, it was time for me to go to bed. So I did my daily routine, brush my teeth and throw on my pajamas. After that, I went to sleep. I say about 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up out of nowhere, probably from a bad dream or something. For some reason, I decided to look out the window. When I looked out the window, I saw this man. He looked like he was in his 20s. He was wearing a long coat with black pants and long boots, and he had on gothic makeup. He looked like a goth. His clothes were all dirty, and he also had long black hair and was clean shaven. So when I saw this man, I was so confused as to why this man that I didn't know was standing in front of our house, staring at our house. I found that really weird. After he stared at our house for 5 seconds, he walked towards my mother's car and tugged on the front passenger door, but it was locked. Then he walked toward our front door and began knocking on the door. This, of course, woke my parents up. They walked downstairs and went to the door and opened it. Then I heard the man say, "Hello, I'm sorry to disturb your sleep, but I need some help. I'm stranded and I've been walking for hours, the whole night, and I'm asking if I could come inside for a glass of water, please." Then my parents politely said, "Sure, come on in." Then I heard footsteps and the door closing. After this, I sneaked downstairs to see what they were doing. They were just sitting at the dinner table having a conversation. My parents were asking the man about himself and if he had any family he could live with. After their conversation, I heard the man asking my parents if he could have 5 minutes to himself. My parents said yes, and they walked out of the room. As soon as they walked away, the man gets up and sneaks over to where the car keys are hanging up and takes one of them and sneaks them in his pocket. As soon as I saw this, I yelled, "Mom and Dad, he took one of the car keys!" When I yelled, the man was startled and ran toward the front door, pushing my mom and dad out of the way. He opened the door and ran out. I ran upstairs to look out the window, and I saw the man running towards my mother's car, unlocking it and getting into the front passenger seat and locking the doors. My mother ran up to the door and I heard her yell, "Get the f*** out of my car before I call the police on you, you little thief!" Then the man slid over to the driver's seat, started up the car and drove off. My mother then ran inside the house and my dad called the police. 15 minutes later, the police arrived and my parents gave a description of the man. Still to this day, he's never been found. I will never forget that day for the rest of my life.